Welcome back to our channel. Today we're talking about the Bates sister whose carefully polished image is suddenly being questioned from every angle. Josie Bates Balka has long been seen as the stylish, composed, and effortlessly put-together member of the Bates family, but recent online reactions show that the internet is no longer just admiring the aesthetic. Now, people are analyzing it, challenging it, and asking what's really behind the effortless image. Before getting into the newest controversy, it helps to understand where Josie stood before this week. Over the past year, she has been one of the clearest examples of the family's move into modern influencer culture. Through her beauty business, highly curated content, and clean visual branding, she built a lane that felt separate from the louder drama surrounding some of her siblings. While others dealt with public tension, rumors, or messy storylines, Josie was often viewed as the sister who had everything under control: a growing business, a stable marriage with Kelton Balka, and a family life that looked pulled from a lifestyle magazine. That image is exactly why the current backlash feels bigger than it otherwise would. The biggest discussion right now centers on a thread titled Josie Bates Balka Botox. The wording was direct, and the conversation that followed was even more direct. Instead of complimenting her appearance, users began closely examining her face, especially her forehead and brow area. Several commenters pointed to what they described as an unusually smooth forehead, saying it lacked the natural movement they would expect. Others focused on a visible dip near the eyebrow, arguing that it looked like the kind of change people often associate with cosmetic injections. The comments were not subtle. Some users joked that Josie was starting to look more like a mainstream influencer than a Bates daughter, with one line of criticism comparing her current style to the kind of celebrity aesthetic usually associated with high-profile social media figures. Others claimed that if treatments were involved, they were having the opposite effect and making her look older rather than younger. The tone of the thread made it clear that this was not light curiosity. It was active skepticism mixed with sarcasm. Another part of the debate focused on what kind of treatments people believed she may have had. Some commenters suggested baby Botox, the lighter version often used preventatively before deep wrinkles form. Others speculated that injections could be for something practical, like jaw tension or TMJ rather than appearance. Even those more neutral comments still accepted the same core idea, that some kind of cosmetic procedure might be part of the story. At the same time, many viewers strongly rejected the entire conversation. Defenders argued that screenshots and close-up still frames are one of the least reliable ways to judge someone's face. Lighting, makeup placement, filters, camera angles, and even facial expression can dramatically change how a person appears in a single moment. Some pointed out that people online often accuse women of getting work done anytime they look especially polished, even when there is no evidence beyond speculation. That divide is what makes the story interesting. The real issue is not whether Josie had Botox. No one in the thread had proof of that. The bigger issue is why so many people were ready to believe it. Josie's image has always been tied to beauty, style, and a polished sense of control. Once someone becomes known for looking consistently flawless, audiences start examining the process behind that image. Compliments turn into investigation. Another theme that came up repeatedly was how different this feels from the family's original identity. Some commenters pointed out that the Bates family once emphasized modesty, simplicity, and more traditional values. Because of that, seeing one of the daughters at the center of Botox speculation felt symbolic to them. Their criticism was less about one forehead and more about what they see as a broader shift, from conservative family branding to full influencer culture. Others thought that criticism was outdated. They argued that self-care, skincare, and even cosmetic treatments are common parts of modern life and do not automatically contradict personal values or faith. In their view, the outrage said more about people wanting women to remain naturally beautiful without using any tools than it did about Josie herself. There was also a smaller side discussion involving her recent girls' dinner road trip clip. In the video, Josie showed a simple tray meal for her daughters while traveling. Some commenters mocked the portion sizes and said it looked more like a snack than dinner. Others dismissed the backlash immediately, saying it was clearly just a practical road trip solution and not something worth turning into a parenting scandal. Compared to the Botox thread, however, this topic felt secondary and much less significant. What connects both discussions is perception. Because Josie has built such a refined image, ordinary moments no longer stay ordinary. A close-up becomes a cosmetic debate. A snack tray becomes a parenting argument. The stronger the brand, the stronger the reaction when people think they see flaws in it. That is the trade-off of becoming highly curated online. The same polished presentation that helps someone stand out also creates higher expectations. Audiences begin expecting beauty, authenticity, relatability, and perfection at the same time, an impossible standard for anyone to maintain forever. Once people feel the image is too perfect, they start looking for what might be hidden underneath it. Josie's place within the family adds another layer. Unlike siblings whose visibility depends heavily on family group updates, she has built a more independent identity through her business and lifestyle platform. Many viewers believe she no longer relies on family approval or family ranking to stay relevant. She has her own audience, her own brand, and her own lane. That independence is part of what makes her stand out. But independence does not protect anyone from scrutiny. In fact, it often brings more of it. Once someone is viewed less as one of the sisters and more as a standalone influencer, the standards become harsher. Every photo, every product, every parenting moment, and every facial expression becomes open for discussion. Still, none of this changes the fact that Josie remains one of the most recognizable and successful members of the family. The criticism itself proves how much attention she still commands. People may question the image, but they are still paying close attention to it. The bigger takeaway here may not be whether Botox happened or whether a travel meal was too small. It may simply be that Josie has entered a new stage of visibility. She is no longer just admired from a distance. She is now being examined in detail, with every post open to interpretation and every polished moment inviting a second look. For Josie, this feels less like a scandal and more like a shift. The admiration is still there, but it now comes with skepticism. The beauty-focused brand is still strong, but it also attracts more questions than before. And the effortless image that helped her rise is now the same image people most want to test. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think the Botox discussion is fair, or is Josie simply being judged more harshly because she looks polished all the time? I read every single comment, and your perspective always adds something new to the conversation. And if you want more deep dives like this, don't forget to subscribe.